In a small hamlet on the edge of the Black Forest, there lived a poor man named Nicholas. He owned a modest wooden cottage and had a loyal dog named Bruno. Every morning, he would trudge deeper into the forest with his weary legs. For hours, he would chop firewood, bundle it, and sell it at the village square for meager coins, barely earning enough for a loaf of bread and some dried apples. Nicholas's wife, Isabella, was beautiful, but her tongue was as sharp as a blade. She had grown weary of poverty and considered her husband a worthless wretch. She constantly hurled insults at him, diminishing his spirit. One evening, a fierce downpour swept through the hamlet. Nicholas returned home soaked and exhausted, clutching a bundle of firewood. But the scene awaiting him at his doorstep shattered his heart. Isabella's eyes blazed with fury as she shouted, "Get out of my house, you wretch! I have no use for you anymore." Nicholas stood stunned. In a trembling voice, he asked, "Isabella, have you lost your mind? Where would I go? What place do I have?" Isabella screamed, "Go wherever you please. Live with your dog Bruno. He's more useful than you." Tears welled in Nicholas's eyes. He lifted his burden, not of wood, but of heart, and walked away in silence. Bruno followed quietly behind, as if he understood that his master's heart had broken beyond repair. At the edge of the hamlet, Nicholas sat beneath an ancient oak tree. He lifted his eyes to the heavens. "O Lord, I have nothing left but this loyal dog. You alone are my refuge." At that very moment, a tale began to unfold, one that neither Isabella nor Nicholas could have ever imagined. The night grew darker. Nicholas remained under the tree, and Bruno rested his head in his lap, offering silent comfort. As darkness and cold deepened, Nicholas rose and ventured deeper into the forest, where no soul dwelled. Through the night shadows, they discovered an abandoned forester's cabin. Nicholas entered, gathered dry kindling, and kindled a fire to ward off the cold. Then, lying on the earthen floor beside Bruno, he whispered, "How can poverty destroy me, Bruno? As long as you are with me, I am rich. You are truer than 1,000 men." Midnight had passed when Bruno suddenly growled. His eyes were fixed on a shadowy corner of the cabin. Nicholas startled. "What is it, Bruno? A wild beast?" Bruno began scratching at the earthen floor. Nicholas lifted the burning torch and shone light into that corner. The ground there was compacted, as if something had been buried and hidden years ago. Together, they started digging. Within moments, their hands struck something hard and wooden. "Dear Lord," Nicholas's lips trembled. "It looks like the lid of a chest." As they cleared more dirt, an old chest bound with iron strits came into view, so ancient that moss and rust had encrusted its edges. Nicholas's trembling hands struggled with the corroded lock. At first, it wouldn't budge, but when he struck it forcefully with a stone, the lock shattered. It lifted the chest's lid, and in the next instant, his eyes blazed with wonder. The chest was filled with gold coins, precious gems, heavy necklaces, and countless treasures from ages past. His voice shook. "Is this a dream, or has the Lord heard my prayer?" He fell to his knees, his eyes filling with tears. From that very night, fortune's tide turned. Nicholas, who had nothing, had become so wealthy that the world would bow before him. The next morning, he woke at the first light of dawn. The restless unease of the night still lingered in his eyes. He studied the glittering treasure carefully, then took a deep breath and said, "The more I hide this fortune, the safer it will be. The world's gaze brings both envy and thieves." He closed the chest as it was, covered it again with earth, and kept only a few gold crowns in his pocket before heading toward the market. The small village square seemed more vibrant than ever. Timber-framed shops, the aroma of fresh bread and curing meats, the bustle of townsfolk. Nicholas bought bread, milk, some dried nuts, and a few provisions for himself and Bruno. Then he chose a path where no one's eyes would fall upon him. Night after night, Nicholas would take only as much gold from the treasure as he needed. With it, he bought goods, sold them at market, and gradually learned the art of trade. Within weeks, a small shop appeared on a corner of the square, where his scales were never short and his prices never exceeded what was fair. People didn't just buy goods from him, they bought trust. His smile, gentle tone, and honest intent had won every heart. Soon Hamlet's children, elders, and womenfolk were all saying, "That man who lives in the cottage, his shop is blessed." His face no longer bore its old weariness, but a strange radiance, as if someone had broken in first, then blessed him. But Nicholas still lived in that same abandoned forester's cabin. At night, he would sit with Bruno and smile, saying, "My friend, no one knows that the richest man in the hamlet shares his bread with a dog in a wooden cabin. When wealth enters the heart, a man becomes heartless, and I will not become that." Days passed. Honesty lifted Nicholas higher, and prosperity found his doorstep. Some praised him, others envied, yet all marveled at his rise. And among them all, from afar, a woman watched him every night. Isabella, the very woman who had cast him out of their house. Their bond was now broken, the dissolution of their marriage inevitable, and regret had become a burning ember in her eyes. She would ask other women, "Is that the same Nicholas who used to sell firewood?" And the reply would come, "Yes, fortunes change. Blessed be. Now he's a fresh-faced, honest merchant." Every night, a silence descended upon Isabella's heart. If only I had recognized his worth. One night, when Nicholas had finished his evening prayers and was lost in the pages of an old book, a sudden knock came at the door. Bruno immediately grew alert. Nicholas opened it. There stood Isabella. Her face was haggard, her eyes filled with remorse. In a quiet voice, she said, "Good evening, Nicholas." Nicholas studied her face, his heart softening, yet the sting in his eyes remained. He said, "Even if the heart wishes to forgive, wounds leave their marks. Only time reveals who was truly ours and who was merely a trial." Bruno, ever loyal, eyed Isabella with suspicion. She stood there a moment longer, then turned and left without another word. The next morning, when Nicholas stepped outside, he froze. Isabella was sweeping the front of the cabin, tidying things, as if trying to sweep away her past. Nicholas asked, "I asked nothing of you. Why are you doing all this?" She raised her head. There was truth in her eyes. "Because I understand now. A person's worth is not measured by wealth, but by heart. And I lost you when you were closest to me." In that moment, Nicholas sank into a deep silence. Isabella's words fell upon his ears, but found no place in his heart. After a few moments, he said in a quiet voice, "A man's worth lies not in his coins, but in his character. If you had understood my worth when I carried firewood, you would not have pushed me out into the night." Isabella's eyes welled up. Her voice trembled. "I was blind, chasing wealth. The world's glitter had hardened my heart. Today, I suffer the punishment of my deeds. Is there another chance for me?" Nicholas looked at her for a long time. His gaze held pain, but no bitterness. Then, without a word, he walked inside the cabin. The door closed softly. He sat on his old cot and asked himself, "Has this woman truly come to repent? Or does she still have her eyes on my fortune?" He remembered that night when he had been cast out, when he had no shelter, no human, save for Bruno. At that moment, Bruno came inside, resting his head on Nicholas's leg, as if to say, "The woman who could not value you in poverty has now come to value you for your wealth." Nicholas stroked his head and murmured softly, "In my home there is only place for those who stood by me in my darkness." Then he said calmly, "The bond we once shared is now broken. I have forgiven you, but even if broken things are mended, they are never the same again." Isabella's lips trembled. She spoke in a low voice. If you wish, I could stay here as a maid, just to serve you." Nicholas replied, "No, Isabella. I do not wish to hurt my heart by seeing you every day. It would be better if you leave." Isabella wept. Her tears were not just of regret. They were tears for the fate she had burned with her own hands. Days passed, and the forester's cabin, once home only to Nicholas and Bruno, became a gathering place for the townsfolk. Some came for counsel, some for prayers, others to share their troubles. In the marketplace, people said, "Nicholas is not just a merchant, he is the star of our hamlet." And indeed it was true. Honesty had given him a sky that many only dreamed of. One day, a man arrived in the market square, dressed in fine clothes, polished boots, his bearing radiating authority. He announced, "Greetings, I am Lord Marwyn, steward to the Duke." Nicholas nodded in response. "Good day to you, sir." Lord Marwyn smiled. "The duchy needs men of truth and virtue like yourself. We wish you to join the Duke's Council of Advisors, representing this hamlet. You shall be granted land, guards, servants, and authority." Nicholas fell silent. His hands had once held only an axe, and now power was being offered to him. In a quiet but firm voice, he said, "I am a man who has slept on dirt. If the burden of governance tilts even slightly, a man becomes a tyrant. I do not yet trust myself completely. That is why I must decline this offer." Lord Marwyn was astonished. "The world runs after rank, and you kick it away?" Nicholas smiled. "Those who chase power often leave their hearts behind. Until my heart is strong enough, I will not rule over any man." After Lord Marwyn's departure, the atmosphere changed. The townsfolk's gazes sharpened. Whispers began. "That's the man his wife once threw out of their house, who slept in a broken-down cabin. How did he become so wealthy overnight?" And here began the true trial. Earning wealth is not difficult. Keeping wealth away from the heart is the real courage. In the market bustle, there was a man, Judd the Weaver, sly and filled with envy. He ran a linen and spice shop, and Nicholas's growing honor and wealth pricked at him like a thorn. One day, he told his friends, "I swear, there's something fishy about this man's fortune. I myself saw him one night digging near an old wall at the western edge of the hamlet." People's eyes narrowed. A cold wind of suspicion spread through the market. Judd added fuel to the fire. He found a treasure. Yes, a buried treasure. Otherwise, how else did he become rich overnight? Within days, this rumor reached the ears of the hamlet's most dangerous man, Aldrich, a cunning, deceitful fellow who had once been a bandit and now called himself a merchant spy. Aldrich thought to himself with a smirk, "That treasure will be mine, and no one else's. Even if I must risk my life, it will be mine." One tranquil dark night, Aldrich crept stealthily near Nicholas's forester's cabin. He hid among the bushes, peering inside. Inside, Nicholas sat on his cot, feeding Bruno meat and talking to him as if he were his oldest friend. Aldrich gritted his teeth. A man like this doesn't earn with his mind. Fortune simply handed him something grand. I will find that treasure, even if I have to dig up the earth with my own fingernails. The next day, Aldrich sent his men to the market square, under the pretense of trade, to get close to Nicholas. These men watched everything, listened to everything, but Nicholas's simplicity and smile revealed no secrets to them. Nicholas was far wiser than they imagined. As suspicion grew, Aldrich devised a new scheme. He sent a man named Cassius to Nicholas to stage a charade of friendship. Cassius claimed to be a major investor wanting to build a new marketplace. Praising Nicholas's reputation and honesty, he said, "We think you should join us as an equal partner in this venture. We'll purchase the land near the well and build a grand market." They were sitting in the shaded spot beneath an oak tree outside the cabin, and Bruno sat before them, eyeing Cassius suspiciously. Nicholas stood and asked, "Who is your real partner, and what is your true purpose in coming to me?" Cassius hastily replied, "I am genuine, and this partnership will be written openly before everyone." But Nicholas was not a man to believe in glittering words. In a calm tone, he said, "If you are genuine, why have you come in the shadows? Come, let us sit in the light, in the church, before the people, with witnesses. That is where we shall draw up the agreement." Cassius's face turned pale. He asked in a trembling voice, "Do you not trust me?" Nicholas gave a slight smile. "I trust in the Lord, and you are like light, beautiful from afar, but your true nature reveals itself up close." Then he clapped his hands. Bruno immediately came to his side and looked at Cassius with a gaze that seemed to say, "No tricks will work here." Then Nicholas added, "And listen well, the treasure you are chasing is not buried in the earth. It is hidden in patience, hard work, and honesty." Cassius stood, frozen like stone. Then he ran to Aldrich and reported everything. Aldrich gritted his teeth. "If the treasure won't come to us, we'll take it by force." That very night, Aldrich summoned his 3 most dangerous thugs. In a low voice, he commanded, "Tonight, everything ends. Nicholas's secret, his treasure, it will all be ours." All 4 crept through the dark alleys toward Nicholas's cabin. Each carried either a thick cudgel or a dagger. Aldrich pointed to the window. "We'll break in here. Lalo, secure the door, and Salem, block the window escape so he can't flee." But as they neared the window, Bruno suddenly unleashed such a ferocious baying that the ground seemed to slip from beneath their feet. He lunged at Lalo like a flash of lightning, sinking his teeth into his forearm. Lalo's scream pierced the night, and his dagger fell to the ground with a metallic glint. The commotion woke Nicholas. He seized his cudgel and rushed from the cabin. In the darkness, he spotted Aldrich fleeing. Nicholas shouted with a voice surging with anger and courage, "Stop! Searching for treasure? Look, here it is, in my labor, my patience, my honor." Bruno kept charging through the darkness, his barking echoing across the hamlet. People rushed from their homes, and the entire tale unfolded before their eyes. Come morning, the town council, the mayor, and the hamlet's notables gathered. Lalo, his hand badly wounded, could not conceal the truth. He confessed everything. An elder looked toward Nicholas and declared, "Never have we seen such a loyal dog, and yet you have proven even more loyal than he. What you have done for your heart and your land, that is the true treasure. You did not dig up wealth from the earth, but from your own labor. Now your story will be told to our children." Then the mayor announced in a loud voice, "Let Aldrich be banished from the hamlet, and the land he coveted shall be gifted to Nicholas. This decision shall be recorded." In that single day, Nicholas had won land, the townsfolk's trust, and most of all, their hearts. And Bruno was no longer just a dog. He had become a symbol of loyalty. Nicholas set up a small marketplace on the edge of his new land. His livelihood grew day by day, and his name spread far and wide. One morning, his former wife, Isabella, returned, taking soft steps, shame on her face, hesitation in her eyes. She spoke in a quiet voice. "Oh, Nicholas, I admit I wronged you. On the day I cast you from our home, I did not know I was extinguishing the light of my own life." Nicholas remained silent for a while, then spoke gently. "Isabella, poverty breaks a man's heart, Greed makes him a stranger. But a man learns, forgives, and moves forward. Before Isabella could speak, Nicholas took a step forward and said, "If you have come for my money, then turn back. But if you have come seeking the man you once loved, then the door is open, and so is my heart." Isabella's eyes filled with tears. She bowed her head and said, "I swear, I have come for that Nicholas, whose worth I failed to understand. You taught me that a man's value lies not in his clothes, but in his heart." Nicholas took her hand and said with a smile, "Then come, let us begin anew. The cabin may be small, but with two true hearts, it becomes a palace." And in that very moment, Bruno began leaping around them both, as if he too was blessing their new life. The most valuable treasure in the world is loyalty, honesty, and patience, for these are what make a man truly rich.